Welcome back, everyone. We're just about to begin round 5 or 6? Round 6, probably, of the Arden Cup between Aaron Bader and David Koenig. So, without further ado, we will start with Aaron's rack because he is going first, and let's get this show on the road. So Aaron's got probably one of the most obvious opening racks ever. He's got decamps or scamped. And he goes for decamps with the D on the star. Which one's it? Not that one. That one. Now, interesting he chose this one over this one. He's put the E next to one of the double letter squares. I'm not entirely sure why, but if he insists, so David Koenig's rack is invade and a Z. And we are saying hello to a couple more viewers. Hello, strangers. Please make yourselves known in chat. You are all welcome to suggest moves and spelling errors that you see me unable to type and stuff. All comments are welcome. Exclamation mark commands if you'd like a moobot to help you with some really simple stuff. So back to David Koenig's rack. He will be looking to maximise his Z here. Get some points, get some score. And he does that. Not like that, unfortunately. Someone tell him afterwards. He's missed a double-double. What is it with people missing really nice plays on the stream? He plays advisors. He is going to ruse Ida because it's one of those new ones, and it's one of those he should know, and he's missed it, and he might not have even been looking for it. So Aaron's got a pretty terrible rack here. There's nothing obvious jumping out, unless suddenly cats are jumping out, in which case meow. But none of the vowels on the board, none of the consonants on the board, are particularly useful. Even the vowel dumper, the classic Collins vowel dumper, the Bacchic cry of frenzy, won't do much help here. So one assumes he will exchange, and he does. He exchanges 5, keeping EN, and hopefully his pickups are somewhat nicer than that post-bonus pickup. So Dave Koenig's rack is, I mean, it's a lot better than it was. Unfortunately, he's got the Q, but he can play it, and he can play it. Oh dear me. I'm gonna have to backtrack, I think. I'm gonna have to backtrack. So yeah. Be right back. So I have no idea what happened to Aaron's rack. He must have changed 6 instead of 5, but I can't double check. So but anyway, it's pretty terrible. It's he's got no valves, which he should have kept one after the exchange. So we are going to be missing just a few racks here. The players are playing way too fast. Somebody blast them with a freeze ray for me. Just slow them down somehow. Someone set the fire alarm off. That might help. I did not know this word. Maybe you get intonico in Monaco? Who knows? But, so apologies for the incorrect racks. I am trying very hard to communicate. with the annotator, who is struggling with the speed of all the players. They are playing way too fast. They need to be much nicer than this. There's still a couple of moves to play, and we've probably completely lost it at this point. Okay, so I can only just literally put words on the board now. And hope that they stop being so damn fast. Slow down, please. Where is M6? Up there. Okay, that's N5, but whatever. Wow. They played way too fast. Okay, so we are now caught up. They played those words way too quickly, and now I need to lie down on some more chocolate. So let's get back to some actual talkative commentary for a change, rather than me completely being crazy on whatever's happened. So the rack's pretty clunky. You've got vowels that don't go well with the consonants, and consonants that don't go well with the vowels, and really, because you're behind, let's just score some points and be done with this turn so I can go back to bed. So back to Dave Koenig after some very, very speedy play that nothing can happen with. He's not got the prettiest rack in the world, but who needs it on this board? There's not very many scoring opportunities on this board unless you've got a bonus. Immediately I'm looking for anything, and I'm seeing the play of math here for 26. It does give a bonus lane back, but it does have the best leave. And Dave goes for hat, probably because it's slightly harder to fit a bonus underneath. Especially as bonuses tend to end in E's, and this one, because AH doesn't take an E, we're kind of like, yuck. Or at least that's how I would like to think of it. So now Aaron's got a really nice looking rack. It's close to bonuses. Probably is a bonus on here somewhere. So because I'm too distracted to think of a bonus, I'm going to get Quackle to do it for me. And it turns out there isn't one. It's possible that Aaron will spend quite a while thinking about this bonus. Or this lack of bonus. So he does play off the clunkiest of the tiles. He plays Dip. Now I can see why Quackle does like id here, especially speedy player. Because it creates another bonus lane. And because there aren't many bonus lanes on this board, unless you're holding an S. So you want to kind of vary the kind of openings you have, because if you've only got one opening, there's only one kind of score you're going to get. Whereas if you've got several openings, you can weigh up all the different stuff, all the different aspects of the play, the different points, different defense, offense, openings, closings, floaters. You can weigh up everything. But that's not to say that having so many openings is a good thing, because there are more opportunities to get bonuses down. Whereas closed boards mean fewer opportunities to get bonuses down. So Dave's going to struggle with this rack. He drew 2 U's. And 2 U's is horrible. And it doesn't work on this board at all. The closest he'll get to getting rid of these U's is by playing something like Umu along row 3. Umu and Ugg. So Umu takes an M front hook. It's a very uncommon hook. It's one that you won't end up worrying about because that's the last M. And it's hard to see much else other than Umu. Oh, an even better place for Umu. That's something worth seeing, isn't it? But yes, that's a much better place for Umu, even though it gives a nice, easy 25-30 point parallel back. It's more defensive. Whether that is what Mr. Koenig wants to do or not, that is up to him. But in many ways, he'll want to keep the board slightly more volatile, slightly more open. Because a play like Dip from a high class player, a top class player, it's quite unusual because you don't see many top class players play 3-letter words unless they're leaving good letters, or they're very close to a bonus, or they're playing the power tiles. 3-letter words are just very uncommon. Like, you'll see a lot of 2s, you'll see a lot of 4s, but you might not see that many 3s. Like, by 3s I mean 3-tile plays. So something like Ral, because that used up 3 tiles because you could only fit 3 in the triple lane, that's not that unusual. But a lot of the others, you'll find use a lot more tiles. So they have played Doughty. That plays the most number of points. It is slightly more aggressive and blocks off bonuses ending in S, which is what he wants. But unfortunately, Aaron does not have a bonus ending in S. He doesn't even have a bonus beginning with S. he has isleted. And as I'm reminded from watching Pointless earlier, it reminds me of the islets of Langerhans. I'm not going to spoil where they are. You can work out where your islets of Langerhans are. But it is the only bonus. Isleted came in about over a decade ago, actually. Wow, that's been a long time. In what was the first CSW update, the switch from Chambers to Collins. And we got tons of new words in, tons of which players weren't very happy about, or were extremely happy about, depending on how they valued the evolution of a language. So Dave's now staring at Iraq, which is nowhere close to a bonus. He's 66 points down, and the board isn't very friendly to anything, really. He won't want to burn both his S's here. And he does have a 5-letter word Mousy, M-A-U-S-Y, but as you can see, it just doesn't really go anywhere nice. Mousy doesn't fit beside Doughty very well. The best place is probably here for it. It's 32 points. It's very aggressive as a play, and being this far down with 2 blanks unseen, are you willing to take that risk? I don't think players take many risks anymore. They play very much to the probabilities and the chaoses. If Dave wants to keep one of his S or both of his S's, he may play Maya. For 39, which doesn't open out anything new, and especially considering both blanks are unseen, you really don't want to be opening 9-timers. And because this essentially cuts the lead that Aaron had into much smaller and manageable chunks, it's worth doing to keep the S's. Because let's put it this way, it's not as if they're the last S's in the bag, are they? Or maybe he's also just not familiar with Mousy. It did come into the last update. He will know it because it was a new word, and the new words tend to get studied much, much more than the old ones do. But anyway, Aaron will be looking at this rack. Glad he got the blank. Not maybe so glad that the rack isn't as pleasant as it could be. It's quite hard to play parallel to Doughty. The U and the I as vowels are very difficult to put consonants in front of. I can see someone's like towelled, but because of the nature of the rack and the way the board is, you can't really fit much anywhere. So you're probably looking to get rid of LEW or T. Something underneath isleted scores a decent chunk of points. So something like O scores 33, or wet 37. You know, you're scoring a lot of points. You take your lead back to being a bonus lead, and holding a blanket's what you want to do. Unfortunately, it creates another S hook, another bonus lane, but that bonus lane would essentially be for face value. So Aaron does go for O. I'm not surprised. LET blank is a better leave than OLE blank. And he's hoping that he picks up some nice letters, unlike David, who picked up some really horrible letters, and now he's got an issue with his rack. Oh my god, I've just opened character map. Oh, the joys of being on a computer. So now, with David's many issues with this rack, one of them is not being able to score a decent chunk of points, and he spots what is a very kind of the best play, but it's quite risky. It's adios. Maybe he will say goodbye to this game. And maybe he will not. So while we await Aaron's lucky or unlucky pickup, we will impatiently patiently do something. I'll key in Dave's rack and we can have some fun with that. What we do know here is that Aaron does bonus. I'm not sure what he has bonused with. It looks like it is Lucite onto the S of Agios, but I'm awaiting confirmation of what the rack was. It looks like it was EELITU blank. Okay, it wasn't that. He played. Oh my god. Oh, now I have to guess whether it's a V or an N. It's a blank. Oh, the joys of being an annotator. Isn't it fun? You basically have to guess what they played at this point, or listen. And they've played a V. So levities is what is played. There is no brevity with the levities. And yes, Lipey, I opened character map because someone played whatever I said. Yes, someone played the mysterious double-lettered tiles that do very much come up from time to time, not in English Scrabble, but in other Scrabbles out there, other languages where words exist, they have other letters. So anyway, Mr. Koenig is now looking at 110-point deficit, and a rack that won't give him 110-point play. He is looking for points, and with so few tiles left, it's not quite working. So he's played Hideous underneath Muse, and at this point he's in quite a hideous scenario. Housier does score 2 more points, and it's possible that Housier may be better just because the X is still to come, and he might need the X to win, and for the X to be the winning tile as it was, there would need to be places to play it for lots of points. And unfortunately for David, the X is on Aaron's rack, and that pretty much has it sewn up, unless he somehow managed to draw another bonus. So Aaron's looking at a bag with 1 tile left in it. It's a very typical scenario for a Scrabble player. They regularly get left with 1 or 2 tiles left in the bag, and it's not by accident. It does get deliberately done that way because it prevents your opponent going out with a bonus and getting everything that's left on your rack, but it makes them think about the end game rather than you. There are times where with 3 or 4 or 5 tiles in the bag you do end up emptying the bag, but it's a very rare scenario. More often than not you will end up leaving 1 in the bag, and by your opponent having to think about it, they have to account for all 8 tiles that are unseen from their point of view rather than just the 7 that are on their rack. So Aaron's having to account for that. He'll be aware that there are only 2 vowels left plus a Y, whether you count a Y or a vowel as a vowel or not, who knows, but he knows he will struggle to get rid of the X after this turn, especially if he burns a vowel or 2. So he goes for X for 36 next to Dalty. X over Oxer or X on, because he is trying to account for the lack of vowels in the bag, and by doing that he ensures that he has a vowel on his next rack. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do. You need to have a backup plan to your backup plan sometimes in Scrabble, and if you try and get some of the backups, you may actually save the game as a win. And anyway, Dave Koenig, bonus behind, 73 points. He knows he's going to be able to play 2 turns here, but he's not unfortunately going to be able to get 2 40-point moves in a row. Unless by some miracle he does, in which case I shall eat my hat. So, short of a miracle here, Aaron has won his 2nd game on stream. And he will be on a certain number of wins, however many that is. I think 4 wins. So while we await for Dave to think about his play, we will look to Twitch chat and Chris Lipe, who is at the Arden Cup or following from home, looking after some cats, says that Aaron is doing really well in a tough field. Yep, he is the 5th seed, and it is also impressive since he's not played a tournament in like 10 years. Well, Lipey, I did check cross tables, and he played a tournament 3 years ago. He is from Massachusetts, if I remember correctly, backs west. At least that's what cross tables told me. He last played a tournament in 2015, like I said, and before that it was 2008. So it has been a very long time, and there have been plenty of dictionary changes since then. TWL had its first update in like forever, and Collins has had like 7 updates since then, it feels like. So, Lipey says Bader now lives in the Midwest. The last time he played, he was probably at MIT. Which I guess, if that's in Massachusetts, then yeah, that makes perfect sense. Still waiting on David Koenig to play. There are apparently 2 more games today. That will take us nicely to 1 o'clock in the morning, which is the perfect time for night owls like me. And of course, perfect Twitch chat. Distract you from the Mets game. They are very terrible this season, aren't they? They can't get rid of Jose Reyes, the guy that is meant to tutor Ahmed Rosario and failing miserably at it. And I mean, for £100,000, I mean, you're going to keep him around, I guess, aren't you? But yes, both the baseball teams I'm following this season are doing awful. I'd rather not watch either of them. I'm a Blue Jays fan on top of following the Mets because, you know, the Mets were full of superheroes, and it was fun to watch Thor and the Dark Knight and Big Sexy all at the same time. Well, not really, because they were all pitchers, but, you know, who wouldn't want a rotation looking like that? Now, David Koenig does like baseball. Unfortunately, he will poo-poo on me liking baseball because he is a Yankees fan. And of course, Major League Baseball has announced that they are coming to England, finally. In 2019, we are getting some Major League Baseball in England. Yankees and Red Sox. I am going to boo them till kingdom come. And of course, Dave Koenig is a Yankees fan because he likes winning. And what Yankees fan doesn't like winning? Like 6 World Series in a decade or something. So let's see what Dave Koenig's best play is. Speedy player likes Borty and Booty for 32. It doesn't look like there's much of a victory here. And Championship player agrees with the best valuation being buy. As in, bye-bye, I don't want to play this game anymore. Which I assume leaves Rota to go out later. It leaves Rota in 2 places. Providing it doesn't get blocked. You've got D11 and you've probably got over here somewhere. I don't think that's a word, but oh well. Buy ends up best. Rota. Oh, look, Rota there. And Rota there. But, where did Borty go? Oh no, Borty is a bad play. Aborty, aborty, aborty the game. Aaron makes Speedy play his best play. Really, he just has to make sure he's not terrible right now, not failing miserably, not playing phonies willy-nilly. And David Koenig will look for that miracle play, which doesn't exist. There is no 60-point play with 2 letters that are 1 points. And 14 is the best. He will more than likely find that unless he really couldn't care less. And then he'll probably play something for like 3. But he does find the best play. And it's a win for Aaron. 4-7-1 to 4 something 4-2-4. And the game is now over. Now ends round 6 of the Arden Cup. So thank you for watching what I think was round 6. And I'll let you guys watch the standings for a bit. And we'll be back after a brief interlude.